My name is Naomi, and I'm 79 years old. And there's something I've been wanting to say for a long time. Not because I think you'll listen, you probably won't. I didn't. But I have to say it anyway. Because when you get to my age, you stop being afraid of being honest. And you start being afraid of staying silent. I worked for 37 years. Raised 3 kids. Managed a home, paid bills, kept everything running. And I was proud of it. I still am. But there's something I wish someone had sat me down and told me when I was 32, running on 4 hours of sleep, telling myself I'd rest one day. Nobody did. So I'm going to try to be that person for you. It was a Tuesday. My youngest had a school play. She had been practicing her lines for 3 weeks. She'd recite them at the dinner table, in the car, in her sleep, I think. And I missed it. Not because I didn't love her. Lord, I loved her more than anything in this world. I missed it because I had a deadline. A report. A manager who didn't know my daughter's name. She didn't say anything when I got home. She was already in bed. But I saw her costume, this little yellow bee outfit she'd made with cardboard and tape, hanging on the doorknob of her room. She'd left it there so I'd see it. I stood in that hallway for a long time. That was 47 years ago. I still remember the exact feeling in my chest. A strange hollow thing. Like something had been removed quietly, without asking. I told myself it was one missed play. I had bills to pay. I had to keep going. And that was true. It was true. But it wasn't the whole truth. The whole truth is, I was running so fast I didn't notice what I was running past. And I kept running. For decades. By the time I finally slowed down, my kids were grown. My husband had a knee that never healed right because we kept putting off that surgery until things calmed down. And my own body had already started sending me bills I hadn't budgeted for. High blood pressure at 51. Arthritis at 60. A diagnosis at 68 that I don't need to name, but let's just say, the doctor told me stress had been a major factor. Decades of stress. Chronic, invisible, normalized stress. And I remember sitting in that doctor's office thinking, I spent 30 years trying to be efficient. And my body spent 30 years paying the price. Here's what nobody talks about. Not really. We talk about time management. We talk about balance. We talk about self-care like it's a luxury spa day. But we don't talk about what I call the invisible withdrawal. Every time you push your body past exhaustion and keep working, that's a withdrawal. Every time you eat something quick and terrible because you don't have time, that's a withdrawal. Every time you say "not right now" to your child, your spouse, yourself, that's a withdrawal. And you don't feel it in the moment. That's the cruelest part. You feel productive. You feel necessary. You feel like you're doing the right thing. But the account, your health, your relationships, your inner self, it keeps a perfect record. It doesn't forget. And one day, usually when you're not ready, it presents you with the balance. And by then, some things cannot be repaid. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm really not. But I want you to understand what I didn't, that everything has a cost. Even the things that look like discipline. Even the things that look like sacrifice. Even the things people applaud you for. I got a lot of applause. You do so much. I don't know how you manage it all. I smiled when people said that. I was proud. What I didn't know then, what I know now, is that I wasn't managing it all. I was borrowing against myself to make it look like I was. If I could go back and give my younger self one tool, just one, it wouldn't be a planner. It wouldn't be a morning routine. It wouldn't be a savings account, though Lord knows I needed that too. It would be what I now call the ledger. A ledger, you know, is what accountants use. 2 columns. What comes in? What goes out? We keep ledgers for money. We rarely keep them for life. Here's what I mean. At the end of every week, I want you to ask yourself 3 questions. Just 3. First, what did I give this week that I cannot get back? I don't mean money. I mean time. I mean presence. I mean the part of yourself that you spent on work, on worry, on other people's emergencies. What did you give? Second, what did I receive this week that I actually took in? Not what was offered. What you actually allowed yourself to receive. Rest. A quiet moment. A hug that you were present for. A meal you tasted. What did you actually take in? Third, is this ledger sustainable for 10 more years? Not for 1 week. Not even 1 year. 10 years. If you kept living exactly this way, same pace, same sacrifices, same choices, what would be left of you in 10 years? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, but I don't have a choice. The bills are real. The job is real. The kids need things. I know. Honey, I know. I lived it. I'm not saying stop working. I'm not saying your responsibilities aren't real. I'm saying, check the ledger. Not to judge yourself. Just to see it clearly. Because I never looked. I just kept going and going and going. And I assumed that because I was moving, I was fine. Because I was productive, I was healthy. Because I was needed, I was okay. None of those things are the same. The ledger method is simple. It doesn't take an hour. 5 minutes on a Sunday night. 2 columns. What went out? What came in? If you can't find anything to put in the second column, that's your answer. That's the alarm. That's your body, your heart, your future self, standing in that hallway, looking at a little yellow bee costume, asking you to see what's happening before it's too late. Let me tell you something about money that took me far too long to understand. Your health is your most valuable financial asset. Not your house. Not your retirement account. Your health. I spent years worrying about saving money, cutting corners, working overtime to build something for the future. And then I spent my 60s spending that savings on doctors, medications, and procedures I might have avoided if I had simply rested, eaten better, said no to one more shift, taken the vacation we kept postponing. I'm not saying this to make you feel guilty. Please hear me on that. But I want you to understand it with clarity. A single hospitalization for a stress-related condition can cost more than 6 months of savings. A chronic illness can reshape your entire financial future. The cost of burnout, in lost income, in medical bills, in the quiet years you spend just trying to recover, is staggering. We don't calculate it. We just assume the body will keep going. Like a car with no oil. We assume it will keep going because it. Mother used to say, you can't pour from an empty cup. I always thought that was a soft saying. A gentle woman's excuse to rest. I understand now she was giving me practical advice. She was telling me, the most productive thing you can do is stay whole. The working mother who never rests, who never builds margin into her life, who spends every cent she earns trying to keep up, she is not building wealth. She's treading water. And treading water is exhausting. And exhaustion leads to decisions you wouldn't make rested. Hasty choices. Missed opportunities. A body that starts costing more to maintain than it earns. The ledger works for money the same way it works for energy. What went out this month? What came in this month? Is this sustainable for 10 more years? If you wouldn't run a business this way, if you'd never accept a company running on constant deficit, why do you accept it for yourself? You are the business. You are the most important asset in your household. Protect yourself accordingly. My daughter, the one with the bee costume, she calls me every Sunday. We talk for a long time now. She's in her 50s. She has her own kids. She's busy. But she calls. And I am present for every single one of those calls. Not because I earned it, but because I finally learned to be still. It took me too long. I won't pretend otherwise. But I don't tell that story to mourn it. I tell it because I want you to have more Sundays than I did. More yellow bee moments that you actually see. You are not a machine. You are a person. A full, whole, irreplaceable person. And the people who love you, they don't need your productivity. They need your presence. Your children don't need a mother who did everything. They need a mother who was there. I know sometimes those feel like the same thing. They're not. Doing everything and being there, they are not the same. If I could give you one thing today, one thing to carry out of this little video, it's this. Look at your ledger tonight. Just look. Don't judge yourself. Don't panic. Just look. And then ask yourself, if I keep living this way, who will I be at 79? I'm 79. I'm okay. I have enough. I have love and warmth and Sunday phone calls. But I carry some things I wish I didn't. And I would trade a lot of those productive years for a few more evenings I was actually home. Take care of yourself. Not for later. Now. The future version of you, she's counting on what you decide today. If this spoke to something in you, share it with a woman who needs to hear it. She may not know she needs it. Share it anyway. And if you'd like to start your own ledger tonight, just a piece of paper, 2 columns, 3 questions. That's all. You're worth the 5 minutes.